Hey y'all, what's up? Um, a lot of times we are in motion and we're excited that we have our daycare center. But the most important person in that daycare center is who? The administrator. No, but the administrator is like so important. Your administrator, your assistant administrator, they are the head of everything. When the owner isn't there as yourself, unless you're working there too, you got to make sure things are on point. One of my mistakes was I had opened up a second location, and um, the administrator that I had, she has been administrator previously. She has been a friend of mine for years. So I expected her to go in there and do the job, and I trust her with everything because we've been friends for over 15 years. So I just knew things will just work out perfectly. So during that process, I had to realize that even though you are an owner, you still should be a part of your business. And that was one of my mistakes of putting too much trust in people to run my center and believe that they are getting things done as they say they were when technically they really wasn't. And it caused me to lose my center and my license were revoked and I had to reopen under another name. It was the most devastating moment that I've ever had. I don't experience this. I don't wish this on nobody at all. Um, I was able to literally after going through the whole process with everything, I learned that you have to just be on point with everything, literally. I started off as having a home daycare center, smooth, easy, cool breeze. So then once I was in business with that for so many years, I believe it was um about 8 years I was in business with my home already. So I still kept my home and end up opening up a bigger center where I was licensed to have. I started off licensed for 60 children. Um, and my friend, she was working. I ended up hiring her to work with me at the family home daycare. So she already had a feel of that. Even previously, before that, we worked in the same industry as far as Head Start, and we ran the whole Head Start program for migrant students. So we already knew what we were doing. We already had the process going. I already knew she was fully experienced and fully capable to do the job. The girl was good at what she do. But I had learned as time progressed, envy can be developed, jealousy can be developed. People just switch up on you. That's just what it is. It's just life. Um the more you elevate, the more you're gonna either gain friends or lose friends. That's just what it is. And that's exactly what happened to me during the process of opening up my second location. Um, I lasted a full year being open, but I didn't pass the experience as far as getting fully licensed. So for me, not getting fully licensed, I had to reopen under a different name. And I actually did that process in like 2 weeks. I was not playing no games, but it was just a lot that I was experiencing during that time. So I would say, be careful who you hire as far as being an administrator and having somebody run your center, even though they may be friends, maybe family, or you've known them for so long, you still have to make sure everything is on point and making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do and making sure they are doing what they're supposed to do. I could say this very comfortably, you can't trust nobody. Somebody could be the best worker ever, and then next thing you know, they could be the worst. So you just never know. Everybody go through seasons where they love you, seasons where they're helpful, seasons when they can't stand you, seasons when they just want to destroy you. So you just never know when something is transpiring in somebody's life, but you're going to know what's transpiring in your life because you have to continue to keep things going constantly over and over again. Um, I feel good to actually just share this with people because a lot of times people do not share their bad experiences when it comes to childcare. They always want to experience so many good things when in reality it's not always good in the field. I made plenty of mistakes. I did not have a mentor. I didn't have anybody telling me what I need to do, what I did not need to do, because I was like the first in my family to break a generational experience as far as being a business owner. Even me getting a college degree in early childhood education. So everyone in my family, they knew things of the old school way on how to operate in the old school way. I didn't have people that was like business minded around me. I just didn't have nothing. So during that process, I was just learning and doing things on my own and just learning through my mistakes and creating lessons that I just won't experience ever again. So it has developed me to be very good at what I do. And I'm able to help people to not make the same mistakes that I've made because I didn't have anyone. I wish I did. I really do. I wouldn't made half of the mistakes that I made. So that's what one of the reasons what inspired me to even start this YouTube channel, because I've seen so many daycare um people just, just sharing the good things, and I just was like, let me just get on here and just keep it 100 because it's it could be rough sometimes. It could be rough even if you have a licensed specialist that don't like you. You could deal with a lot of things of that nature, and sometimes people just do that, and you just got to keep moving, and you just got to make sure things is on point regardless, no matter what. So I did want to share with you guys as far as the administration experience, making sure you hire the right person. So during my experience, I made sure that I created a form so that you can hire the correct person for this position. And during your interview, you're able to um, go through the process and let them know what to do and what not to do, the questions to ask, the questions not to ask, so that you know who you hiring and who you are dealing with. So this is one of the forms that I had created. It's an interview questionnaire for an administrator, and of course, you have to introduce yourself and thank the candidate for the interview. Give your overview of the interview process. Will you take notes during the interview? Also, prepare interview questions, receive job duties when applied questions, answer your other questions when done. This is different notes that you can see so that you won't forget to do something during an interview, because sometimes we be so into the interview we like completely forget everything. So it's also a rating scale on here, where something is not relevant, fair, average, above average, and exceptional. So the job and culture fit. What are you interested in the position, in the working force in Monroe Richmond Academy? Um, this is when they actually say the different things to make sure they fit. Some daycare centers have different cultures. Some of them had just one culture overall. Just make sure that person fit and they're able to make your environment better. It doesn't matter the race that that person is, just long as they make things happen and have those kids happy and have the staff controlled and the staff listening and on point doing what they're supposed to do. That's what matters. We have to look outside the box on many occasions, and we can't be stuck in our ways. We have to explore things to bring fun, just bring love and caring within our facility, because when someone walk in, you want them to have a good vibe. You don't want them to be like, oh God, or some kids coming here crying, I don't want to, just like different stuff like that. The organizational ability. How do you plan, organize, and prioritize your work? What kind of work environment would you bring out your best efforts, and what kind of environments stifles your efforts? So it's like, um sometimes people don't prioritize their time correctly and focus on things that they're supposed to focus on, because it's a lot of things that the administrator do. They have to oversee everything at the center, as far as the cook, making sure the kids eat. Then you have to pay attention to staff, making sure they're following schedule correctly, and making sure that the parents are clocking in and clocking out. And if you get subsidized with paid through the state, you got to make sure they're clocking in, clocking out on that machine, so that things are working accordingly. Make sure you plan different events, fun day, just different things like that, just making sure things are like literally on point. Compliance is so important. This is where one of my mistakes came in. um I asked my friend, "Well, you guys," I'm like, "Are you guys cool on the compliance and everything? Everything's on point?" They're like, "Yeah, we got it, we're good." In which I knew that my friend, she had it, under control. I trust her instinct. I knew that she had everything under control, because we've done this before. So I was like extremely confident. However, even though I was confident about that, I still should have rechecked and made sure things were on point regardless, instead of trusting the process. So I really should have went back into that. So when a compliance hit, what is your knowledge of the ODJFS, which I live in Ohio, so it's called ODJFS. So whatever your licensure is called in your city and in your state, make sure that that administrator know very well, on the back of her hand, just everywhere. Make sure they know the licensing rules and regulations is getting updated all the time. Forms are getting updated all the time. Just make sure they know these things when you hire them. Even test them at times. Have different worksheets so they know exactly what it is, or you ask them a particular one. Have you ever participated in state audit or certification process for a daycare? They have to know these different processes for them to come to state audit, because when they come out and do inspections, you have to make a compliance and you have to do corrective action. So you got to make sure that this person know how to make these corrective actions, and make sure there's certification is on point, as far as with not only them but the staff as well. So this is like extremely important when you're looking for a staff member, and I hope they have a 5. Like, you can't, is no exceptions. You need a 5. um Resilience, professional courage. How do you typically respond when you are challenged by an employee about a process, company policy, or decision that you have made? This is very important, because what I've learned over the years is you can't be your staff's friend. And what I mean be their friend, I'm talking about developing a personal relationship with your staff. That's a no to me. How you run yours, that's how you run it. But me personally, I wouldn't do it. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Okay, sorry. But me personally, I would not do it, because a lot of entitlement gets involved. Them knowing your personal business, them feeling like they don't have to listen to this person because I am cool with this person. Like, you have to have those boundaries in there. So having a company policy is very, very important. These are a few worksheets that I will go over later. I do have some that I personally use when it comes to company policy, 90 days and 60 days, just different things that I have. And you got to make sure that the respect is there on both ends. And um It's very important for your administrator and not only your staff, mainly your administrator knows how to talk to people. You don't want to talk to people to make them feel smaller than what they are, that people think that they are. Some people belittle people, and that's not cool. Some people get smart with people, that's not cool. Some people treat them as though that their mother, or they're their father or something. That's not cool. You have to carry the professionalism to be able to speak to them, and also speak to them privately, one on one, not do things in front of all staff or all students that's in their classroom, or even a parent is around. So it's many things you have to know how to do, because tone means everything. And if you don't have that right tone, a lot of things won't go correctly how you expect it to go. Leadership style, tell us about your approach in managing day-to-day operations of the daycare center. This is very important. I will probably let them do shadow someone, or see how they do for a day, with them being in the classroom and running things and communicating with people and everything, getting to know them. And so you get a feel, you know, leadership is very, very important. Um, Curriculum and childcare education development. Tell us about your curriculum development experience, and how do you keep abreast of the latest developments in early childhood education. This is so important, to make sure you stay in touch with the early childhood resource center. That's something that we have here in Ohio. Make sure you keep on point with the assessments, the DECAs, the screenings, the observations, just making sure all these things is on point, making sure you are preparing your children to transition to one classroom to another, or one center to another center, or a center to school if they're going to kindergarten. So this is something that's very important too. Staff coaching and management. This is important because a lot of times, sometimes administrators think they're only supposed to be in the office. You have to be able to be flexible and go in the classrooms as needed. This goes for when someone calls off. This goes for when someone needs help being managed in the classroom, thinking of more creative ideas, or just doing anything. So it's like, how do you ensure that teachers you work with are providing a productive, stimulating environment for the children? You won't know this unless you go in the classroom and be active. You can't just sit in the office and listen, or you can't just sit in the office and observe cameras. That's a big no. You can't do that. So you actually have to be active and be able to coach your staff and let them know, hey, this may be a good idea, or just throw a few things at them. And that's like one of the main good ideas for them to do. Safety is a must. What would you do if you suspected that the child had been abused or mistreated? Of course, we're gonna call the police. Of course, we're gonna write an incident report. We're going to cover a lot of things so that the not only the child is protected, the staff is protected, and also the center overall is protected. So you make sure you also have the proper insurance for things for you to be able to do that. And then also you have conflict management and skills, and tell us about the time you were dealt with an irritated parent. So you got to be able to communicate properly with the parents and keep in contact with them, and how do you resolve those matters. So these are different things that you need to do: learning feedback, openness to the feedback, and skills that will help you and your candidate to be successful in this position. So these are different things that you have, and then you have the scoring. So I advise that you complete the interview questions portion, close the interview after you ask questions, and that you will contact them and thank the candidate for interviewing. And then you add up all the points in the end, and you write your notes and everything to keep in contact with your staff. that you're interviewing for the future administrator, which is very, very important. So I really want to thank you guys for even just paying attention to this. This is really important. I'm gonna figure out a way. I'm getting some things in order so that you could utilize this form. So just please be patient with me because I'm trying to get some things in order. I didn't think my YouTube page was gonna jump like this, y'all. I really appreciate y'all for even just following me and subscribing and everything. Please share it to different friends and family that is in the field as well. This is so important for us to know these things. And thank you so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed today. And make sure you picked the right person. Don't make the mistake that I made. If you have any questions about the mistake I made or anything of that nature on how to go about things differently so you won't do what I did or experience what I experienced, because it's like losing a child, y'all. It was like I had a whole funeral. And I just don't want anyone to experience that losing a daycare center that you work so hard for and you put your trust in people. But at the same time, I shouldn't have done that. I'm taking full responsibility of that portion of me not doing what I was supposed to do either. So thank you, y'all. I appreciate you. Peace.